Shalom Aleichem, welcome. We're going to talk about the Rebbe's time in America when he traveled to Baltimore, Philadelphia, St. Louis, all along the Atlantic coast. And here we are with the background, the Atlantic Ocean with the beautiful Verrazano Narrows Bridge here in Brooklyn, connecting Staten Island and Brooklyn. The Rebbe, I believe in mid-December to beginning of January, left the New York area and he went to Baltimore. He spent time there. He met with the mayor there and other dignitaries, and he said Chassidus there. And one of the places that Chassidus was in Rabbi Eliezer Axelrad's shul, Anshe Lubavitch, and I was in that shul. The shul was closed for many years. Lubavitch had bought it several years ago, and it seemed like there was a chair there, that was the chair upon which the Rebbe, the previous Rebbe, sat when he said the Maimer. Rabbi Axelrad, when he would look at the chair, he would cry from great awe. The Rebbe went on to Philadelphia, and there he went to the Liberty Bell, and he sat on the chair, and where the Declaration of Independence was written, and the mayor came out to greet him, and the mayor called the Rebbe, Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak, a hero. And thousands of people came to greet the Rebbe in each of these cities, Baltimore and Philadelphia, and then he went on to St. Louis. In St. Louis, the reception was so large that the papers wrote that when Chaim Weizmann of the Weizmann Institute in Rehovot, Israel, the famous Israeli scientist who created a World Academy for Science, when he came there to St. Louis, he had many less people than the Rebbe had when he came. So the question is, why did all these Yidden come out? And you know, Baltimore was a Ashkenaz city between German Jews and Litvaks from Vilna. It wasn't a Hasidic city. Other cities had more Hasidim, but Baltimore wasn't. Yet so many people came there. In Philadelphia, although it's a city of love, and Lubavitch also means the city of love. Luba is love in Russian. Nevertheless, the city Philadelphia isn't anything special as far as Hasidus and Hasidim. Yes, there was a Talmud of the Rebbe Rashab there, and later the Rebbe opened the yeshiva there in the 44, 45. Rabbi Yitzchak Groner, Rabbi Mendel Tenenbaum led that yeshiva in those years. Rabbi Popek was there, but that was later. I'm talking here about 1929, 1930, going into 1930. And St. Louis as well. And I think that one of the individuals who stands out, who made public the specialty of the previous Rebbe as a tzaddik and as a goin and as a Baal Mesiras Nefesh, was Rabbi Eliezer Silver, Rabbi Eliezer Silver. Although himself a staunch Litvak, he was a massive Talmud Chacham, and he was the head of the Agudas Harabanim of the United States. And he was a personality for himself, and he knew of what Lubavitch did in Russia and the Mesiras Nefesh that the Rebbe and his Hasidim had to fight Stalin and communism. And for this, he rolled out the red carpet. For this, he told Yidentum, and he told people, and he had his rabbis who would look to him to announce in their congregations to the simple folk that this this tzaddik who's coming, who's here, we must all go out and greet him, because he stands for the truth. He stands for Mesiras Nefesh. And this is what Chabad Lubavitch is all about. Mesiras Nefesh, self-sacrifice. Putting yourself aside, even in spiritual matters, for another Yid. So, the Atlantic Ocean, which is the ocean that greeted the Rebbe when he came in 1929 and 30, and the ocean upon which he traveled from New York to Baltimore, Philadelphia, to St. Louis, and continued on in that vicinity. This ocean kind of had the good fortune to have such a Yid, such a tzaddik, the previous Rebbe, Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak, that the entire Jewish world in all the cities came to greet him and hear his Maimarim as Chasidus, which he said in each place, and the Yechidus, the private audiences that he gave to everyone. And he had a mikveh built. He had a special kuntras written in English for the importance of Taras HaMishpacha and mikveh. And because of that, a mikveh was built in St. Louis and in other places. That was one of the things that the Rebbe did, and while he was here in America for almost a year, from September 29th through mid-July of 30, was to strengthen Taras HaMishpacha, Jewish family, purity Jewish family. So now, 90 years later, we remind ourselves and we see the growth of Judaism and Jewish values, Hasidim, Litvische Yidden, all kinds of Yidden working together. B'schus, the Rebbe that came in 1929 and 30, and he traveled after the incarceration of 1927 and near death, a death sentence that was abolished, and then hard labor that was abolished, another sentence being sent away, and he survived because he didn't give in to those that opposed Yiddishkeit and Frumkeit, and he taught his Hasidim, and he taught Klal Yisrael that we have to stand up for what we believe and not give in to the oppressors and those that want to, chas v'shalom, God forbid, eliminate the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. May each and every one of us take this lesson in our lives to follow this tzaddik's strength and courage, and this will bring ultimately the coming of Mashiach very speedily. We will all go together to Yerushalayim and see the rebuilding of the Beis HaMikdash. Amen.